All right, guys, and welcome back. So what we're going to be doing is going over some aggregate functions using the select and from statement. So we created some tables last video, and now we're going to be using those tables. So let's start with select. That asterisk means all, so we're going to be selecting all of the data in the table. And now we just enter in our table, which we're going to be using employee demographics. So there we are. We have everything: our employee ID, first name, last name, age, and gender. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's select just the first name and run that query. There we go. We have all 9 employees. Let's change it to the last name and run that query. There's the last name. Now, how about let's select the first and last name together? We can do that. We are just going to separate it with a comma. Otherwise, we'll get a syntax error. Okay, run that query. And there we go, first and last name. So pretty simple stuff, you guys. Let's move on into top. Now, the reason top is going to be useful is, let's say you have a very large data set with thousands of rows, and you don't want to see the thousands of rows. So top allows you just to preview that data set with just that first 5. Very useful. Next, we are going to take a look at the distinct function. With the distinct function, it's only going to return unique values. So we're really only going to be able to use it with employee ID and also with gender. So let's practice that. So let's say distinct, and let's do the employee ID. Employee ID, there we go. Close that parenthesis. Okay, because each of these values are unique, distinct values. So let's run that one more time. We can run that with gender. And gender, let's go ahead and run that query. Excellent. Okay, now it only comes back with 2 because there are only 2 genders in that table. Next, let's take a look at count, another very useful feature. So let's just count, and let's choose a name here. Let's count last name. And that should come back to our 9 names. Excellent. Now, 2 things here. One, it would be 8 instead of 9 if there was a null value, or 0 if they were all null values. But secondly, aggregate functions do not return a column name. And that is where we are going to use as. So this is called aliasing, where we give a column a name. So let's count last name, and let's give it its own column name. So last name as last name. And let's go ahead and run that. Excellent. There we go. And we see that we have a column name now. So we're going to continue with this. So let's do one more. Let's go over and let's practice our last 3 aggregate functions. So that is going to be our max, min, and average functions. And they do exactly what you think they're going to do. So, however, we're going to need to use a different table for this, because the only things we could really run this on right now is their age. So let's use employee salary, and we'll start with the max. So max, and right here, salary. Again, let's alias that table so the column gets a name, and run that. Okay, let's go ahead and run that query as max salary. Yep, everything checks out. Okay, so one more thing, you guys. Some SQL databases will let you use an underscore and some won't. This one won't let me use an underscore, so let's rewrite that. Let's just remove the underscore. So as max salary, there we go, there it is. Okay, next let's use the minimum. So min salary, just a few quick changes here. Let's also change the alias. We always want to be using best practices, even when we're creating examples. Okay, so there's the minimum. We have one more, and that is the average salary. So we will put average here, all right, as average salary. Pardon my mistype. All right, and there we go. All right, you guys, so some basic aggregate functions using the select and from statement. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate you taking the time to check out one of my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.